Welcome to Building the Future. I'm your host, Kevin Horick. You can check out the radio version of the show every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on WDJY 99.1 in Atlanta. We also air on a podcasting network in Los Angeles called the 405 Media. There's a TV version of the show that airs on KMVT 15 in Silicon Valley at 8 p.m. Pacific on Tuesday nights. Both versions of the show air in other states. For these show times, plus past episodes, please visit the show's website at buildingthefutureshow.com. The music for the show is done by Electric Mantra. You can check him out at electricmantra.com. Join me at the 10th Annual Media Excellence Awards on January 18th in Beverly Hills, California. The attendees and I will be celebrating innovation and leadership in technology and entertainment. There are 20 award categories with 1,000 nominees. These awards honor those who are creating groundbreaking technology to better our lives and celebrate the hard work, determination, and brilliance in the leadership within the companies which create the new world we live in today. I will be recording nominees and winners at the awards. For tickets and more information, go to MediaXAwards.com. Welcome back to the show. Today we have Marissa Morgan. She's an actress, TV host, comedian, and producer. Marissa, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on the show. I think you've done a ton of really cool stuff. You're doing a bunch of really cool stuff. But maybe before we kind of get into all that, let's get to know you a little bit better and start off with kind of where you grew up.
Well, I grew up in the New England area. I'm a East Coast gal from Connecticut.
Sure.
So I grew up in Connecticut, but I'll be honest, Kevin, those snowy winters didn't really leave much of an impression on me that, made me want to stay.
Sure.
So as soon as I was, old enough to head out to college, after heeding some of my parental advice, which was go to college, I decided to head down to Florida. And that is where I attended Eckerd College down there in Florida.
Okay.
So,
and what did you take there?
So originally, when I started college, and one of the reasons why I also went to Florida is because I wanted to be a marine biologist.
Okay.
I grew up always doing the acting thing. I was like the little drama queen doing like magic shows in my living room and within all kinds of plays and musicals. But as I got older, even though I always told my parents, I want to be an actress, they were like, what if you find something else that you really love and go to school for that, just in case you change your mind? You know what I mean? Kind of that parental advice to, get a real job, as many people like to say. And of course, to that I go, nah. But so I said, okay, well, I also love dolphins. So why don't I be a marine biologist?
Sure.
So everybody was on board with that. I went to college in Florida. And after one semester, Kevin, I was like, I can't do this. Like, marine biology is literally for 4 years sitting in a lab, looking at microscopic stuff, talking to nobody.
Sure.
So, yeah, I literally, after like 2 months, was like, I think I might die. I need interaction. I need people. I want to make people laugh. Like, this is not for me. So I quickly changed my major to international business and marketing.
Okay.
And I speak French, so I thought that was, appropriate, and thought, maybe I'll end up working in a magazine in Europe someday or something like that. So,
okay.
Yeah. So that's how I kind of got down to Florida and spent my time in college. And then as soon as I got out of college, I said, no, I still want to be an actress.
Okay. So walk me through kind of your after your post-university kind of career, because up until kind of what you're doing right now, because you've done kind of a bunch of stuff, but you've also done some really cool stuff in your past that I think makes sense to cover. So do you maybe want to talk about some of that?
Sure. It's kind of funny because even though I ended up getting my degree in business, international marketing and business, like I said, I got done with college. I still had that creative bug. I still had that desire to interact with people in front of them, make them laugh, make them have experiences. I still wanted to act. I still just loved that whole, showing of the entertainment world. And, ironically enough, I ended up kind of getting the coolest job ever out of college, which was a mix of both of those worlds. when I landed the role of a guest host on the Home Shopping Network, which
Okay.
was, located right there in Tampa, which is
Okay.
where I was living. Yeah, so right out of college, I became a guest host for the Home Shopping Network, HSN, and that was really neat because it really did mix the world of business with the world of entertainment. And I did that for a few years. And during those years is when I really started my professional career as an actress as an adult. That's when I said, nope, I definitely want to be in the entertainment business. While I'm at, the Home Shopping Network, I want to get out there. I want to audition. I still had that, childhood desire to be in the entertainment business. So really, I would say when I was, 20 years old out of college, working at Home Shopping Network, I said, nope, somehow I'm going to make this entertainment career happen for myself. And
Sure.
so that is kind of when everything completely, switched paths. And I started really just following my dreams. I started, really taking these intensive acting workshops. I started auditioning. My connections in the business actually brought me over to Texas for a few years, where I then worked as a host on what was called the Jewelry Channel, which was neat. And I had a few agents that I worked with in Texas and booked several movies and did some commercials and really had a great booming career in Texas for about 5 years, also
Wow.
in the business, the entertainment business. Yeah. And there was just this one day that I woke up and said, things here in Texas are really great. I said, but I feel like this isn't where I'm supposed to be. This isn't where I'm ending. I don't see myself staying here forever. And I really feel like I need to go to LA. I
Okay.
really feel like there's more for me, especially at this age and this time in my life. And with all the success I was having in Texas, I just felt like I was outgrowing my pond. I was becoming the big fish in the little pond in Texas.
Sure. So,
So,
okay, keep going. Sorry.
yeah. Yeah, no. So that just brings me to, if you can't tell, I talk a lot. When you work,
No, it's
when you
perfect.
work in
It's
the
perfect.
shopping network, you talk all hours and hours and hours on end. But yeah, no. So that brings me to 5 years ago when I packed up my car and my dog and asked a friend to come with me, and I drove out to Los Angeles. So I've been in Los Angeles now 5 years.
Wow.
So
That's great. No,
yeah.
I love that story, right? It's cool how you just kind of, got something and kept it going, and you just kind of almost like follow your gut, right? And I think that's great. So kind of walk
Yeah,
me. Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's interesting because, a lot of parents out there obviously do encourage their children to do what they love, and mine always did. But then a lot of parents also, feel the need to, encourage their children to go to college and to get, some sort of a backup plan and get a degree just to have something to quote unquote fall back on.
Sure.
And it's funny because there was a time where I wished I didn't go to college. I felt like, wow, what if I had all those years back to have put into the entertainment business or my acting career?
Sure.
But then in hindsight, I think about it, and I know you'll agree, Kevin. I feel like there is a lot to be learned, a lot of valuable lessons. Going to college, you learn. I just think I learned how to multitask. I
Sure.
learned how to,
Yeah.
take on multiple responsibilities, be accountable for deadlines, things that you may not really be able to get a grasp on if at, 17, 18 years old, you just decide to be an actress, as they say, So I think I really, it was a long kind of roundabout journey, but they always say you are where you need to be right now. And I know that journey shaped me to be just a really solid businesswoman in the entertainment world, because I have that solid education and experience in the business world as well. And in this business, you have to be your own business. You
Yeah.
are your business. So I
Sure.
think that, all in all, it was a positive.
No, I think that's great. And I agree with you. I think any kind of post-secondary education, whether even if you go and you drop out, I think it's valuable. And you're right, being accountable to something or somebody or deadlines, sometimes it's tricky to learn that even at a day job, right? So I totally get that. So but I'm curious then, you've been in LA or for about 5 years. You've done some really kind of big shows and you're about to do some really big stuff. Do you kind of want to walk me through kind of the last few years and some kind of up and coming stuff that you've been working on?
Sure. Let's see. Let's start with a credit that I'm really excited about that happened for me last year, which is I had the opportunity to film 2 episodes on the show Ray Donovan.
Very cool.
Which is, just a huge show on Showtime. And what was so neat about that, Kevin, is my role was actually that of a TV shopping host.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was so awesome when my manager sent me the script and said, I got you this audition, and I read it, and I said, are you kidding me? Like, here is that moment where, what is it? Life imitates. Wait, what is it?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
reality, whatever.
Yeah.
I said, no way. I said, I am nailing this. Like, there is no way I'm going to let some random other actress take this role from me because I know this character. I know her because I am her. And I went in. I said, for my audition, I said, hey, I really do have shopping host background. I'm a TV shopping host. I go, if I just tweak this a little, have some fun. There's some things I would definitely say that's not in the script. And the casting director looked at me and said, girl, make it yours. Have fun with it.
That's awesome.
And it was my best audition of my career to date. But I literally left her laughing. And ironically enough, they ended up changing the script to include some of the things that I said in my audition. Obviously, I got the part, but they changed the script to include some of the things I said in my audition. They let me improv, and I got to shoot with some really great directors and ended up in 2 episodes of Ray Donovan. And it was just really like the most amazing and affirming experience I think I've had in the business so far, So that was really awesome. I'm really excited about that. That just came out a little bit ago. And then even more recently, I just appeared in an episode of Fuller House, which is the obviously family show on Netflix.
That's huge.
And I think that just dropped in December of this past year. So that was an awesome experience all around. And then I think also I had a very small little bit part in the movie Unforgettable with Katherine Heigl, where I play opposite Katherine Heigl in a scene. And she was wonderful to work with, one of the nicest actresses that I've experienced working with. And it was cool because when I went to the premiere of the movie up on Hollywood Boulevard at the Chinese Theater, I had dyed my hair dark. And at first she didn't recognize me. She goes, oh my gosh, you look so different with your hair dark. And I was like, yes, I love it. And then she actually goes, oh my God. And she literally, said, your lines made it in the movie. And we had this moment where she kind of recreated our scene and literally acted out our little scene right there. And for a huge actress to remember this one scene that I did with her, years ago was just such a,
cool.
Again, such a positive experience. And it was just see, you just keep doing what you love, and it will always grow. It will make you happy. It will constantly just grow more and more, So, those are some of the recent projects I've done and been excited about. And then coming up, I'm actually producing a pilot. We're in pre-production right now, and I don't want to give too much information away, but it's a pilot that really kind of touches on a look inside a group of people from the Hispanic culture. I think that nowadays, as we see, there's a lot changing in the entertainment world in terms of diversity and putting away stereotypes that involve women or certain cultures. And I think that we see a lot more diversity in casting and television. And I was actually asked to play a role in this pilot. And cool. I read the script. I read the script. And I said, I definitely want to play this role. I'm playing the role of a senator's wife. And I said, I definitely want to play this role. Absolutely. Thank you for asking me. But I really love this script. I said, do you guys have your producers all lined up? Because if you don't, I would love to come on board as a producer, because I see this being a show with just a really juicy, plot that's going to, the casting is just really nicely done. The writing is great. I just think it's not only going to be entertaining, but I think it's going to be, I guess a show that really has a message as well. And also, like I said, I think it kind of targets the Hispanic culture. And I think that that's kind of a group of people that, doesn't have as much out there for them in the way of, shows that show their culture and show their lifestyle and show the differences that they have in their family life and dynamic and all that stuff. So I thought it was kind of a good, I'm just excited. I'm really excited about it. So that'll be coming up. We're filming that. Yeah, we're filming that in February.
Okay, so right away here.
Yeah, and then I'm really excited too because there is a Amazon exclusive comedy. It's called Please Tell Me I'm Adopted. If you haven't watched it, it's great. You can watch all 7 episodes in an hour. That's kind of a new trend right now in entertainment, is these short little 10, 12-minute shows. And I will be playing a role in the second season, but I think it's like the second episode. Okay. And I know that that team is gearing up to start production for that in the coming months as well. So I feel like lots of great stuff on the horizon for 2018.
That's awesome. No, that's great. And I'm curious though, to just step back for a second. You're doing this pilot, and I know you don't want to talk too much about the show. That's fine, but like, how do you even go about kind of tackling something like that? Because that seems just like an astronomical task, just kind of getting everything kind of written and everybody together to actually make it happen. Like, how do you even kind of go about doing that? Because I think now the industry is basically like, well, let's put it simply, I guess, like there's entire movies shot on like iPhones nowadays, right? So how do you kind of go about getting something like that actually produced to where you say like, here's the pilot episode, check it out?
You know what was an amazing experience in October?
Okay.
Earlier last year, I do stand-up comedy.
Right.
And earlier last year, I came up with this joke. And I did it. I was at the Comedy Store, and I did the joke, and I got some laughs. And I was working with this comedy, we'll call her a little comedy guru. Her name is Lisa Sunstead here in LA.
Okay.
And she said, Marissa, she's like, I really love your jokes. And don't take this the wrong way, but some of your jokes, like, you really should consider writing some sketch comedy. Because a lot of my jokes, she like sees how I'm setting them up, and they've got kind of like just a sketch vibe to them, like it's a whole scenario.
Right.
And I said, and why would I take offense to that? Like, that's a huge compliment, and
sure.
It kind of, resonated with me. Like, maybe I'm not a stand-up comedian. Maybe I'm going to be a sketch writer. I'm still developing. I'm still, figuring it out, as we all are, as we continue our journeys. But that being said, those words really resonated with me and never went away. And last year, I ended up taking that joke and writing it into a full-on sketch.
Interesting.
And in October, I said, I have to shoot this. Like, I have to shoot this. Like, not only is it completely relevant to a lot of the political stuff going on right now, but this is something that I feel strongly about, and I have this vision. I have to shoot this. And having produced some things in the past, I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this on my own. And I basically, had a budget of $500.
Wow.
I called some friends of mine that were great actors. I have a friend who's an amazing camera artist. I've got friends that do sound. And with a budget of $500, I took an entire day and I shot the sketch.
Interesting.
And the sketch is literally being finished as we speak. It should be done in the next day. And then we're going to submit it to Funny or Die.
Sure. That's great.
The fact that I was able to take my idea, put it onto paper, take that paper, turn it into a vision, and then basically reach out to people I know and create this team, and then take just a tiny bit of money and throw it at it. And then now I'm going to have this product in my hand, or on the screen in like 24 hours done, 3 months later, it just gave me so much confidence, Kevin, in my producing skills.
Sure.
So when, fast forward 2 months to like this past January, when the script came down to me for this pilot, right away I just had these visions in my head and said, if I don't step up and like take some ownership of this project and let these writers know that I have a vision, and if my vision is the same as theirs, then like, let's team up. Like, if I didn't do that, it would have been like a definite disservice to myself and my, creative creative desires. So I think in terms of it being difficult, I think the hardest thing is really understanding that a producer is really, in my opinion, almost like a ringleader in a circus.
Okay.
Like the ringleader isn't the animals, The ringleader is not jumping around like making these people like go ooh and ah like the animals are doing that. Or let's not even talk about animals because circuses. That's a whole other thing. The performers. Let's talk about performers. The ringleader is not also the performers. The performers are their own thing. The ringleader is not the guys that are operating the lighting. You know what I mean? Yeah. The ringleader is not the person selling the tickets. The ringleader is not the person making the popcorn. The ringleader is someone who sees that big picture and then basically, like puts the puzzle together. Who do I know that would be really great to do this role? Who do I know that would be like the best, lighting guy? Who do I know that, might have this talent to offer? So I think when it comes to like producing, it's not difficult because you see the whole picture and then you realize you're not doing everything. You're just putting the pieces together. So you're almost like creating this ultimate dream team. And then once you have that dream team, all this craziness that seems like it would be difficult is not, because everybody is focusing on their one special talent for the team. And when everybody, brings their special talent, then you end up with this amazing project. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think that's really good.
That was such a long answer
No,
to your
it's good.
question.
Nobody wants to hear me talk. They want to hear the guest talk. So I think it's good. No, but I think like you touched on something that I think is super important. And like one of my good buddies, I wish I'm going to send him this episode after this. But the problem is like so many people think you need like hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars and like this 3 months and to make like this anything happen kind of in the film space or TV space. But like you're to your point a second ago, like it took you a few months, but it's not like you were working on that 9 to 5 Monday to Friday for those 3 months. It's like you did it over those 3 months, right? And I think that's super important. And it only cost you $500. So like I think
$500.
Well, I think like that, but that's super important to tell people, right? That you don't need these big budgets and these crazy timelines to like get something up, even if it's just online to YouTube, right? I get that like sometimes you want to go to Amazon Prime or Netflix or a major network, but you can get your own content up with little to no money, a small team of people, and you can at least get it online. Fair to say?
Absolutely. The industry has really changed a lot. And now that we have these opportunities for social media and streaming, in the past, it was all about, as an actor, it was all about take all these classes, get your headshots, spend all this money, constantly be studying, and then get an agent, and then sit at home, continue to study and read books and like develop your craft, and then just wait for the agent to call you with an audition. Sure. And then you're going to go and you're either going to, get the role or you're not. And then it's just repeat. And nowadays, exactly what you said, there's a lot of new contracts available through the union. For instance, there's something called like a SAG New Media contract, which allows people to put together productions, which is what we're going to do our pilot under. You can put together a production under SAG New Media, which means that it's not necessarily for the movies. It's not necessarily for television. It's really for like streaming, the internet or streaming. And those contracts allow you to do all kinds of different things when it comes to the money. You can actually defer your payment for the actors.
Oh, wow.
So if actors read your script and love the project, and maybe it's an actor who hasn't worked in a while, right? Or maybe it's an actor that's kind of newer to the business who wants to get some street credit and some great footage for their reel. Actors don't have to take a risk because with the union, they can do this project. They can get some quality footage. They may sign a contract for a couple $100 for the day or what have you, but there's some great, like almost, this is great. It's like there's clauses that say, hey, you're agreeing to do it for this rate, but, I accept no payment at this time because maybe this project won't go anywhere. We don't know. But you know what? If this gets turned around and sold to Netflix and turned into a series, there's a guarantee that you will get paid. So there's opportunities to be creative with professionals, meaning, it's not like Joe Schmo in his backyard trying to make a home movie, trying to recruit you and, abuse your time and your talent. But, you can put together professional people that have amazing experience and amazing talent. And if, everybody's got some time and everybody's got the skill set, I think the money part of it can be almost the afterthought, because everybody wants to work, everybody wants footage, everybody wants to be creative. And of course, the more you do, the better you get. And the more networking you do, people like to work with people that they like. So when you have these great experiences, it's like, the film students who do their own projects and stuff for like theses, like they don't have budget to pay, but they do it under a particular contract for the university. But can you imagine being in like Steven Spielberg's thesis project however many years ago? And look at him now, can you imagine him walking into an audition for him and then him going, oh my God, you were in my thesis film however many years ago. Oh my God, so great to see you. He paid them nothing, and now you're getting to audition for this amazing, Hollywood icon. So there's definitely, it's all about getting out there and doing, and like you said, with YouTube, people have their own platforms that they can showcase their material. Kind of the same with stand-up comedy in LA. Like, it's stand-up comedy, there's no money in just going up and doing stand-up comedy in LA, because LA is really almost a showcasing town.
Sure.
But you never know who you're going to do stand-up in front of. You never know, what comic may see you and say, I'd love for you to come on the road with me and open up for me, or just the confidence that you build by doing it, or the ideas that you get. I mean, I came up with the idea for this sketch doing stand-up at the Comedy Store. I didn't make any money doing the set, but what ended up ensuing from it is going to be amazing. I can't wait for it to get up and get streaming. It's going to go viral. It's going to be amazing.
That's awesome. No, that's actually interesting. And like the comedian comedy side of it that's actually interesting, because I was in LA a number of years ago and we went to the Comedy Store, I think, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, it was like a Thursday night and it was like $10 or $12 at the Comedy Store, and it was like, literally it started like, I think it was like 7 or 8, I can't remember exactly, but it was like every comic had like a 20-minute set or whatnot, and it was like the girl that opened, I can't remember her name, and it sounds bad, but like she was a writer for Fresh Off the Boat, the show. Joe Rogan was up there. There was a couple other guys that were on like, a couple other like actors that were in like kind of primetime TV shows that were just like, wow, like I've seen this guy on TV or this girl on TV before, and they're like 3 feet in front of me, right? And
exactly,
I was like, they must not be getting paid, or they must not be getting very much, and they probably just want to try some stuff out. But to your point a second ago, it finally kind of clicks and makes sense. Like, it's probably all those things, right? That they love doing this stuff. They have an opportunity to do this, but they can't be making a ton of money if, there's those venues only fit a few hundred people. And if they're charging like $10-12 to get in, right?
Exactly. To be honest with you, and this is something, I feel like it's kind of something that no one really knows, but if you're a stand-up comedian in LA and you're not the headliner, meaning you're not Joe Rogan or, Paul or someone getting up there, Amy Schumer. Usually the comedians that perform before those big guys, literally, Kevin, make like $10 or $20 a show.
Oh,
literally, it's gas money. And that is because also in Los Angeles, so many people want and aspire to do that.
Sure.
So, it's different to be out on the road and be opening up around the country for, a headliner, because that's almost like going on tour. And that's definitely where you can make some money. But really in Los Angeles, you can go out and see some amazing talent, and it's often a place where comedians work out their sets. They're going to go to the Laugh Factory, Comedy Store, Hollywood Improv, and really work out their sets and figure out what works before they take their shows on the road anyway. So for them, it's kind of like their practice.
Sure.
Even though LA is a big deal, and you go to a show and it's crazy, big names, it's almost like their backyard. It's where they practice to then take it to the screen or take it on the road. So
that's actually interesting. But then it kind of ties back into your point a few minutes ago, is like, if you wrote a whole little show around like something that you did a joke at doing one of these performances, like, yeah, you might not have made a lot of money in that original performance, but if you tie it into something that will pay you down the road, like, I guess the point I'm trying to say is, like, not everything you need to do, especially in the creative space, needs to always pay you money. If it leads to something that will pay you money down the road, or network, or a handful of other reasons. And I think I've always kind of believed that, and that's always kind of forwarded my career or my creative career, is not everything I've ever done has been necessarily for money. It might have been for exposure or networking, without trying to get, like, letting people kind of take advantage of you at the same time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You got to liken it to sports or, music.
Sure.
Think about the people that go to the gym every day training for a sport, and
Yeah.
they're not getting paid to go to the gym every day and fine tune their instrument. I mean, getting up on stage, doing stand up or auditioning, or even like the sketch that I just directed and produced.
Yeah.
The whole experience. I mean, I learned so much that day, and it's all stuff that I will take with me to the, like, for instance, this pilot now I'm producing. I learned so much in producing the sketch, and I've produced some other things, but the sketch is the most recent. I learned so much. And again, it's the more you do, the better you get. And in this business, the more you do, the more people you meet, the more experience you get, the more people have confidence in you, the more people remember you. Hey, Marissa, I know I haven't talked to you in a year, but you're perfect for this role. I mean, I get calls like that all the time, like from people I worked with years ago. So it's all like building blocks and that snowball that keeps rolling and rolling and rolling and getting bigger. And I think, Kevin, and I bet this is, holds true for you and your career. I think it's a matter of doing something every day towards your craft. Just something, whether it's tweaking your resume or setting up an appointment for some new photos or sending a thank you email to the casting director for a booking that you got, or writing a new joke, or, just something every single day towards what you love. I mean, things come up for me that aren't in the acting world. Like I've had a career also doing some marketing and some things of that nature that I have done for a paycheck to survive. And opportunities like that will always come up. And, Los Angeles is a very expensive place to live. So it's definitely not been any sort of a smooth ride, more of a roller coaster of ups and downs. And I think as long as you keep the focus and try to stay positive and know that everything happens for a reason and you learn something from every experience. I mean, I really believe in that saying, you are where you need to be right now, and you can't, that's something that can't change. So if you always accept that this is what I need to be doing right now, then I think it's easy to stay, positive and stay excited and stay, just positive really about where your career is going.
No, I think that's really good advice. And like, I have kind of a lot of people kind of in the startup space or kind of the entrepreneurial space or on the show as well. And it's interesting because so many people think, to what you kind of just pointed out, that like you land a big role in a big show that you're just, set for life. And it doesn't work like that. Like, even people that are been super successful, they still like take sometimes jobs that they might not want to do, or do something in a different industry. There's a lot of people, even just like what you just said, like sometimes you've done marketing stuff. Like there's guys in the tech space that run a startup that still do kind of like client work, right? And so it's all kind of the same thing, right? And I think it's refreshing, like somebody like yourself who's done some big stuff and is still doing some big stuff and producing their own stuff, say sometimes it's not all like, sunshine and rainbows every day of the week, right? Like, but you're right, you have to stay positive, you have to keep doing it. And if you spend, a couple hours, maybe a week, doing something to further your own career, you're probably a couple hours ahead of majority of your competition.
No, yeah, you definitely hit the nail on the head. And that completely throws me back to an acting teacher that I worked with in Tampa, Florida. Her name was Kathy Laughlin. She always said to us that there is only room at the top of the tree for one star. And as you go up the Christmas tree, the branches become less and less and less.
Sure.
And the ornaments, there's less room for all the ornaments as you go further up the tree. And so, when you get in the business, for instance, with a big group of people, you're in this big acting class, and everybody says they want to do this, they want to do that, they want to do this. Well, life happens. People change. People get unmotivated. People get lazy. People lose focus. People get, feel jaded, or people just give up. And the further along you go up this Christmas tree, the ornaments just becomes less and less ornaments, and I think it's a matter of knowing. It's definitely, there's nothing in life. Like, there's no overnight success. Like, the people that we see now that are the Steven Spielbergs and the, Nicole Kidmans and Meryl Streep, like, these are people who definitely hung in there even when it was hard.
Sure.
And continued to just say, no, I don't see myself doing anything other than this. I'm going to keep going. And so I think it's just anything you do, the longer you do it, the better you're going to be at it. So I think it's just like any other career, really. I think people think it's just so different, but I mean, it is different. But when it comes to being successful, I don't know any professional athlete that, woke up at 18 years old and was star quarterback of an NFL team. No, there was like a lot of work between 18 years old and the day they win that Super Bowl trophy,
No,
So.
totally. Well, the other thing too that I think people forget too is I've talked to some people in the past that by all, like, on paper, they've achieved more success than they've probably ever thought was possible. And they're kind of that star on the top of the Christmas tree. And sometimes it's not even, it's almost harder, because if you're the star, there's only one way to go, right? And you're expected to everything that you do from that day forward to be just as good, if not better, right? And sometimes that's hard in itself.
That's kind of strange that you mentioned that, because it's something I haven't thought about in a while, but it's very true. Like, I've heard this saying, like, you're only as good as your last project.
Yeah.
Right? And we all know in this business and entertainment, you can go 6 months, a year, 2 years without a gig. And I think I worked on a movie when I was in Texas, Louisiana. It was called Mama, I Want to Sing.
Okay.
And it was starring with Billy Zane and Hill Harper and Sierra, the singer, and Patti LaBelle and Lynn Whitfield, this amazing cast. And it was the first movie that I was ever in that I got my own trailer.
Okay.
And I remember sitting there with my script. I had a co-star role or supporting role. And I remember going, wow, I made it. Like, if I were to die tomorrow, all my work has landed me here. And I'm just going to take this moment and say that I don't care what happens from here on out. I made my dream come true.
Sure.
Because all the hard work landed me there in this trailer, in this script, working with this ensemble cast that was so incredibly talented. And that lasted, Kevin, that lasted for a couple months. And then the itch is there. And it's like, okay, well, what's next? What more can I do? What's next? Okay, like, what's next? So there is definitely, and I think that's just a lot of pressure we also put on ourselves, just because maybe you work for some company and you have this great year and you make a ton of money. Don't you kind of want to make more money the next year in your salary? Don't you want to, like, be better? So I think it's just human nature that we always want to, be better and, like, outperform ourselves. And I think that's it's different with everybody based on your, like, ambition and your drive and stuff. But yeah, I think that's definitely a hard, just when you think, I don't know, Kevin, there's times I've definitely been, like, down. It'd be like 4 or 5 months since I did something, and I'll call my mom and I'll be like, what am I doing with my life? I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I just, like, when was the last time you called me crying? Like, 3 days later, you got some big thing. Like, this is how it is. This weird cycle, this roller coaster. You just kind of gotta, like, work through those downs, as we'll call them, knowing that, right around the corner could be that call, or it could be that audition, or I could send that email, or a script, like I said, someone could call me and say, hey, I think you're perfect for this. So, that's life, though, isn't it, Kevin? The ups and the downs. You think you know what's going to happen, and then it's a whole other story, a whole other chapter.
No, I 100% agree. And I think, like, and we've kind of talked about this throughout the whole show is it's almost like created luck. Like you just keep doing what you do and what you believe in and create content and put your own stuff together and network and make friends, and you never know where it's going to go, right? But if you just kind of like sit back on your couch and wait for the phone to ring and never really do anything, you might get a lucky break. It might happen, but like if you're out there kind of hustling, doing whatever you need to do, free work, paid work, fun projects, doing your own projects, like eventually you'll probably get some sort of break, right? Like people will appreciate what you're doing at some point, and you never know where it's going to go, right? And I think that's kind of important just to stress as well.
Absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head with that. I think gone are the days where you hear about like an actress being discovered because she's a waitress at a restaurant.
Yeah,
and
sure.
some big producer happens to think she looks perfect for some role. I mean, think about, going out there and shooting your own project. Or for instance, let's talk about the sketch I did for Funny or Die that'll be coming out in the next week or so.
Sure.
It's going to be, as a creative in the world for me, how much easier is it for me to send this link to every casting director in LA?
Yeah.
Via an email.
Yeah.
How easy is it for me to, have a site like Funny or Die be streaming my content? It didn't cost me anything. You think about it, and that thing goes viral. Think about how many like weird videos of cats right now go viral and get millions and millions of views, and it's a cat. If you're a creative person and you have an idea, you just literally need to sit your tush down, write it down, and if there's things you don't know how to do, that's when you like say, okay, who do I know that has their own camera? Or who do I know that would know somebody where I can like rent, a facility where I can rent some equipment? Or who do I, iPhones, you can do stuff on iPhones now. Who do I know that might be able to edit this if I shoot it on my iPhone?
Sure.
And go online, check out tutorials, like go on YouTube. Like everybody has like these crazy blogs now and how-to videos.
Yeah.
I have a friend who learned how to do editing strictly from do-it-yourself videos.
Sure.
Like he learned how to do green screen and like After Effects. Like you don't even have to have big money to do like workshops or buy big software. A lot of it can be done, kind of on the fly, just by learning, almost like guerrilla learning,
Oh, totally.
Especially with the internet.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, there's like huge amounts of like video editing and shooting, just like tutorial videos that are hours long that basically walk you from like how to shoot it to how to edit it, how to put it online. Like you almost don't even, you just like Google whatever you're looking for, like how do I make this effect in After Effects, for example, and somebody's like, here's a few hour tutorial on how to do that, and you're like, okay. So that's
absolutely.
So we're kind of coming to the end of the show, but I want to cover kind of your involvement with the Media Excellence Awards. You're hosting, so walk me through kind of how you got involved with the Media Excellence Awards and why you wanted to do it.
Sure. I am very good friends with a woman here in Los Angeles. Her name is Allison Dollar.
Sure.
And she is very much involved in the media tech world in terms of, startup projects and just basically all I can say is, go on LinkedIn, look her up. Her resume is crazy long. But we worked together I guess in 2016. We worked together. I did some hosting backstage for the American Music Awards.
Okay.
So I got the opportunity to interview some musicians, celebrities. I met Tim McGraw. That was amazing. But we worked together on that project. And here is exactly one of those scenarios where Allison and I have kept in touch. And she is working with, the producer, Sarah Miller at Axis PR and Entertainment. They are the ones putting on this show. And when, Axis Entertainment said, we need somebody to host these awards, Allison said to them, I know the perfect girl. Let me reach out to Marissa Morgan and see if she's available, and I'll put you guys in contact. So it was really a matter of a previous connection of mine in the business who knows I know a lot about technology and media, knows I have that stand-up background, knows I do red carpet events and interviews and such. And so that's kind of what got the ball rolling. And then I started talking with Sarah Miller over at Access Entertainment, and we went back and forth a couple times and just realized we thought it was a great match, and kind of sealed the deal. And that's, how I got involved. And I was excited to do it because I'll tell you what, Kevin, my dream, the thing that makes me the most happy truly is making people laugh.
Interesting.
I love getting up, and I love just being myself and having someone have some sort of natural reaction to me, even if that's like, this girl is crazy, or did she just say that, or no way, oh my gosh, I can't believe she just said that, or what have you. That's what makes me, like, literally my heart just glow inside. So for me, it was just a no-brainer. I love technology. I love media. Sarah seemed like such a great girl. The company that she's the CEO of seems amazing. Working with Allison again got me excited. So it was just a no-brainer for me, and the chance, of course, to get up there, have that experience, network, get to meet other people in the industry. And I think, too, right now is such just a pivotal time, specifically in Hollywood, but obviously in the world, where things really are shifting. There's been a lot of stuff in the media lately with, the whole, just everything from, the racial side of things to the sexism side of things. And I think being a strong woman in the business,
sure,
I wanted to take the opportunity. I didn't want them to even think, you know what I mean, of going to anybody else, because I said, you know what, this could be challenging for me. I might be a little nervous, but I've been working really hard, and I think I have a lot to offer, and I want to put myself out there and continue to build myself as a brand. So I just knew this was the time to almost take the confidence and believe in myself and say, not only do I appreciate you guys coming to me and asking me to be a part of it, but yes, challenge accepted, and let me just get out there and excel and just have a great time. So it just seemed like the perfect time with all the things I have going on in my career, and obviously the social climate right now, and getting to also, it's funny because now Sarah Miller and I over at Access Entertainment, we're texting and chatting. We're after the show's done, we're going to go hiking, and, just even the friendships that start to evolve from all this networking that we do. And look, you and I getting the chance now to work together and meet each other when you're down here in LA. Who knows how that will snowball into the future.
Oh, totally. So, I love the stuff. I'm a big supporter of kind of anything that promotes kind of the positive that's happening in the world, right? There's so much negativity right now with kind of all the politics and the wars and it doesn't even matter. Everybody knows. If you watch the news, it's so depressing lately, right? So I love kind of talking about and having people that are actually doing something to promote the positivity and celebrate the successes that people are having, right? And it's cool that you just openly admitted that you still get a bit nervous doing some of this stuff, right? You've been on this stuff that majority of people have heard of, and you still kind of get nervous doing some of this stuff, right? But I think it's important to mention that kind of again, because everybody's kind of pushing themselves out of their comfort zone a little bit, and the sooner that other people know that people that are successful in their eyes still worry about certain things, I think that makes them feel better as well.
We're all human, and we're definitely all on this journey together. And the time of year too was really just, I had I was in a really horrible car accident about 3 years ago. Okay. And I've had a rough couple of years coming back from that.
Sure.
And even just in my personal life, I've just, had a hard time, and, you see people around you also struggling. And I think I was away from my family for the holidays. I was working in Texas, doing a couple months hosting on a shopping channel.
Right.
And being away from my family, coupled with, the new year coming, I swear it just really made me take that moment and say, okay, I don't want to be cheesy about, I'm not going to do this or I'm not going to do that in the new year. And not, no disrespect to people who make specific goals, but I said, I just want my mindset to shift. I want to be that person that always is looking at what I have, not complaining about what I don't have. Sure. I want to be that person that meets other people and, opens my arms to them and everything that they've got going on, because you realize as we get older, yeah, I always thought life was going to get easier, but it certainly is almost more challenging on the daily. Yeah, between health issues, personal issues, issues with family or friends, career struggles, like struggles with your spiritual side, just everything. Like, it definitely gets more challenging. And I think that there's truth to that saying, if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. But it has to make you stronger, for the whole. Like, it has to make you stronger, not just, I'm a better worker, or I'm like more honest, or, you have to think about how you outwardly affect other people. And I think for me, it's about being more accepting to the people that I meet, and like, how can I make other people's lives better? Maybe it's not about me being with my family for the holidays. Maybe I need to start thinking about being more charitable, like the little things that I think in your teens and 20s that you don't think about, as you get older, especially in a career that is filled with a lot of rejection. You have to remember that, like, hey, maybe I didn't get that part, but you know what? There's people out there who don't have a place to live. Yeah. There's people who lost everything in Texas, There's people daily that, don't have health insurance and have children that are sick, So I think there comes a point in your life where you just think, I could sit here and I could dwell on the negative, and that will make me sick and miserable and sad all the time. Or I can say, look what I do have. I have my family. I have my house over my head. I have my rescue pup. I have my occasional glass of wine because I'm a wine lover. I've got great friends. I am doing something I love. I'm not a millionaire, but I'm doing something I love. And when I do it, it makes my heart feel good. So you realize there's more important things to life to be appreciated too. So.
No, Marissa, that's a great way to end it. So again, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be on the show, and I look forward to meeting you on January 18th at the Media Excellence Awards. But you maybe want to close the show with mentioning where people can get more information about any of the stuff that you're kind of involved in and going to be involved in the future?
Sure. Well, definitely follow me on social media. Social media is huge right now. On Instagram, I am Miss Marissa Morgan. So it's just MISS Marissa Morgan. So that's my Instagram. Facebook, I also just have a Marissa Morgan public page. You can always check out the Internet Movie Database. That's IMDb. You can type in my name, and that obviously pulls up projects I'm working on. And then obviously, if people are local in Los Angeles and want to come out to the show, they are selling tickets, and I think it's through Eventbrite. So you can definitely, just Google Media Excellence Awards. You can get to their website, and there's a link for tickets. And then I would just say, just be eyes and ears, because I feel like 2018 is going to be a really great year for me. And I do hope I get the chance to just connect with a lot of people this year. I think that's also something I just am excited about. Just being open to connecting and living, and just being open.
Sure.
Being positive. And I'm so excited to meet you. I can't wait. When do you get to LA, Kevin?
I get there on the 15th, and then I'll be there.
Okay,
I
great.
have to fly out the 19th, but that's a whole other story.
Hey, I know that story very well. I'm going to be working on a project on the 19th, so I'll need some good sleep the 18th. Not too much party time for me after the show.
That's awesome. Well, Marissa, again, I really appreciate you doing the show, and I look forward to keeping in touch with you and seeing you at the Media Excellence Awards, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Kevin. I can't wait to meet you.
Thanks. Me as well. Hey, bye.
See ya.
Thanks for listening. Please visit the show's website at buildingthefutureshow.com. Also check us out on Facebook at Building the Future Show, and follow us on Twitter at Building Show. The music for the show is done by Electric Mantra. You can check him out at electricmantra.com, and keep building the future.